Hello and welcome back to Janet in Italy. I have lived here for over 20 years now in a tiny Tuscan village, and I love sharing these quiet, simple days with you. Today I'm spending a rare sunny winter day in the garden, cutting back the vines and dreaming of how this little space will look in summer. I'll also be doing a small home DIY job and sharing some thoughts on my knitting project. So just pour yourself your favourite hot cosy drink and come and join me.
She hums to the wind like it's her own tune. A melody borrowed from flowers in June. Her eyes catch the colors the rest never see. She's painting the world in her own symphony. She's a kite on a string.
Hello there, thank you for joining me for this video. I have been quite busy this week. Really, it's all part of my house renovation. I've had renewed motivation, so I just wanted to share it with you. I have finished 2 projects, one of them being the hairband that I showed you last week. I've sewn in my ends and I'm really pleased with it. So it'll keep my ears warm, and we can have cold weather March, even April time here in Italy, although it's hard to believe. So this is going to be wonderful just for keeping my ears warm if I don't want to wear a hat. I also finished my rug that I had woven and was off the loom in the last video. So I finished it off now, and well, take a look. Let me know what you think. I made a big long piece of weaving and I cut it in half because I felt it was going to be too long. So then I crocheted actually the 2 sides together to make more of a square piece. I wasn't bothered about the pattern matching. I wanted it to look rough because if I attached them that way and did it on the other side, it just wouldn't look right. It wouldn't look as though it was meant to be rough and ready, but it would, if you see what I mean. So it's rough and ready looking. It's a country rustic hand-woven rug on a floor which is made out of handmade ancient terracotta tiles. I'm still not sure. The jury's out. I'm going to think about it, because part of me thinks I could have 2 little rugs instead of 1 bigger rug, but it is nice when I just walk over it with my feet. So I'm leaving it like that for now. I do like this rug. It's a little bit ruched. I'm hoping that will smooth out in time. I can steam it in parts, I guess. But anyway, that's a project finished, and that's good news. Well, what did you think? Please comment below. Do you think I should take it apart again and have 2 small rugs? Or do you think it looks okay as it is? Please let me know in the comments below. I would very, very much appreciate your opinion. Just to let you know, this herbal tea is absolutely delicious, and I think it's very good for me. It's orange, with ginger and cumin. I've got to say it's probably my favourite herbal tea of the moment, and I think it's very good and warming inside, especially in the winter. And it's also refreshing. It's very orangey, absolutely delicious. This week I was out in the garden. There was one sunny day in between rainy days, so I actually wasn't intending on going out, but I seized the moment. So here's how I got on with that. Okay, this is my winter garden. This is what happens in winter. We are prone to high winds and a lot of bad weather, and a lot of rain and some sun. So everything gets overgrown. But, excuse my dog barking, I put them on the balcony because they can see me. This is some trimmings I did. Then we were overtaken by bad weather and so they were just left to dry. Then they got rained on, and now they're drying again. So I need to be able to burn them off. I have a little fireplace in a little shed I have, which I'll show you in a minute. I've got some lovely furniture here, but most of all, I have a vision of how I want my little winter garden to look in the spring and summer. Spring is around the corner. In that little shed I have a little fireplace, so I can burn off these little twigs. Now I need to trim my grapevines here. I saw one of my neighbours doing this yesterday. He looks after somebody's house, and he was trimming the grapevines. So I've got this vine here, and then I just go slowly around. Sorry if the sun comes, but then this one here. Now I tend to not cut them as hard as I should do, but I'll tell you, this year I'm going to cut them really hard, otherwise they will just overgrow this whole tiny garden, and then it just becomes suffocating because it gets very humid in here. So I'm just going to cut back this vine as far as I can. Now it's just struck 3:30 on the church clock, so I've got a ladder outside, which I actually don't think I'll need a ladder outside of my garden, but I'll bring it in because it might make it easier. Got an electric knife. It's down here. Put it on the chair. And so I'm just going to get cracking. My dream for this is to try and get this wall painted a cream colour and the door painted in a beautiful pale blue to match my windows and shutters. I don't know what I'm going to do with this table. The gate needs painting. It's just a rusty brown colour, and that's going to be probably a cream or pale blue. Cream or pale blue, probably cream. The pergola is metal. It's never been painted. I don't know whether I can paint it with this grapevine. I suppose that's more incentive for me to give it a really good hard cut back, so I can maybe get a coat of paint on, but we'll see. That's not the top of my list. The top of my list is to get all these plants off, clear the garden, and then make it beautiful. So I'm going to start. I don't know if my little hand saw is running out of charge because I used it yesterday. Anyway, here goes with this. No, it's run out. I knew it would. I have plan B because it's pointless coming out here without a plan B, and my plan B is I have lots of cutting things actually in my little shed. I'm actually quite disappointed because I wasn't going to come out today, but I decided to because the sun came out. I wasn't expecting it to be a sunny day. The sun came out, and so so I thought I'd just seize the moment. I only thought later on that perhaps I should have charged up my battery, because I will have rechargeable things. I don't know how easily this will go through. Oh, easier than I thought. So I suppose I can cut back some of these bigger branches, and then I can go back in to the really thick ones later on with my little electrical rechargeable one, because some of the thick ones I'm not going to be able to get through. Oh, I've done it. Right, I'm going to switch off so that I'm not grunting and groaning and straining, and I shall see you later. Okay, I've been going about half an hour. I've already cleared almost cleared one half of what I needed to clear. So it's going really well while the sun is still here. I've just got to clear this corner here, and then I've got this to do here. I'm guessing it won't be as quick because I think there's more of this, but the beauty of it all is that I actually cut into a lot of this in the autumn, so a lot of it's died off, so it's dry already. But this is what I've done so far. My ladder is in the midst of it. It's a lot easier than I thought, even going through the thicker branches, so I'm guessing it wasn't meant to be to have my electric saw today. So anyway, I'm going to get on with the job and I shall update you in a short while. Well, it's 20 to 5 now and I finished. It all went very quick. Don't know if you can see one of my dogs just up there. But anyway, I finished. I've got to just maybe tidy up a little bit the big chunky bits of vine that I have here and here. But I'll do that with because they are really thick. I think they're actually too thick for my long handled pruners there. But the thing is though, it's not my favourite job clearing up, and I have an absolute mountain of branches to clear up here. I'll start by maybe cutting them small, but it's a nightmare because where I live, it's 350 metres from where I can park my car. It's not in a straight line, it's up and down cobbled lanes, narrow lanes, so it's not a case of, I'll just take it to the car. It's or I'll just load the car up. It's a lot more difficult than that. So little chimney here, you can see a little hole. There's a little fireplace in my little gardening shed here. So if I can get it small enough, it might just be able to be burnt in the little fireplace that's there. If not, I don't know. I just don't know how to go to plan B. But now that this is off, it will grow over again in the summer. I'm hoping it won't be as thick. And if I can do this every January or February, because that's when you're supposed to cut your grapevines, then it will give us some healthy grapes with good airflow and also a little bit of shade in the summer. Other things I need to tackle in my garden are my lavender here and down. Because it was overgrown with the vine, these have pushed outwards and it looks beautiful from the outside. On the inside of the garden, it doesn't look that great, so I may have to just put new lavender in. These lavender have been here for 20 years, so I'm really sad if I have to take them down, but then that'll cause more stuff to have to get rid of. In years gone by, and I'm talking about years gone by, people just used to throw it down the mountain. But you can't do that now. Even though it's natural waste and it would decompose down, you just really can't do that now. So I also here, well, you can't see it. I'll try and zoom in on it when I edit the video. I have a dead rose there. My other roses haven't done very well for years here. You can't see that. One's just very, very twiggy and they're just overwhelmed. Problem being that we are absolutely overgrown by brambles. They come from the garden behind this one because there's nobody owns that. Well, the lady that lived there died and her relatives don't come and sort the garden out. Also, the tree here is quite tall. Oopsie. It's quite tall, and otherwise you'd have a beautiful view. We do have a view this way, except there's brambles there, and my neighbour's garden's quite overgrown. So hopefully it'll be cut down in the spring and summer, but I'll just have to tackle it myself to a certain level and see what I can do, because this little garden is going to be my tea and scone garden. And so I have a dream. I've had a dream for a couple of years and it will become reality this year. I'm determined. Just need to keep up the motivation and keep up the energy. So anyway, I'm going to cut this up while the sun lasts, and then you know what I'm going to do? Probably take the dogs for a quick walk, then have a nice hot shower and do some knitting. That's my dream for this afternoon. Can't wait. I'll keep you posted. What do you think? It's going to be a beautiful garden once I've tackled all those brambles that are going around. I will do it. I've got some new tools. I also want to paint the little shed door a beautiful pale blue to go with the rest of my colour scheme for the outside of the house. I've got some wonderful, wonderful old-fashioned deck chairs that I was gifted by some friends recently, as they have sold their house and they can't take everything back to Britain with them. So we were gifted lots of wonderful things which I'll share with you in another video, and we've been helping them this week as well with that. Another household task I had to do this week was fit a door handle. I changed the lock and I had to refit the handle, but because the lock is modern and the handle is old, the bar goes through the door, through the lock, and it's what actually opens and closes the door. Modern locks use 10mm, but the old ones use 8. So I had to come up with a solution. I managed to find a metal sleeve that would turn the 8mm bar into 10 when it goes through the middle. I had to cut it. So here's how I got on with that. Today I have a little job in my studio that I need to do. It's been hanging on for a while. And it's this handle here. I don't know if you can see it. My old stairs there. That's another renovation job I need to do in the near future. But this handle here, it's an old handle. Now, I've got Mr. Byron down here again. He's my little helper, isn't he? I've been putting new handles on my doors. This is an old handle and I quite liked it. It feels like solid brass. But the internal bar that fits the two handles together is an old-fashioned one. I think it's 8mm instead of 10. I can't really get bars these days to fit 8mm, not very easily anyway, so I got a sleeve that makes the old 8mm bar into a 10mm. Now, the hole in the little bar here is what fits the handle. There's a little hole in the bar just here, and that is what fits the handle, there you can see it now, onto the door. So I've drawn a line here. The Byron is hanging onto my leg here, so I need to cut that line to get the sleeve to fit, because otherwise the hole doesn't match up with the hole on the handle. So ow, it's just bit me. Ouch. Mr. Byron, you just bit me. I bought some blades that are supposed to cut through metal. I'm going to try them. They're the cheapest ones, so I'm not hopeful. I'm a bit scared because it's metal. Mr. Byron, you're lovely. I can't do any jobs, can I? I can't do any jobs. As I say, I'm very nervous. Never cut through metal before. I'm frightened that it's going to bounce off and do some damage. So here goes. Put one of these new blades in. I really am nervous about this. And give it a try. It's very cold in my studio at the moment because I haven't lit the fire. I'm not even sure if this is going to go wonky when I'm doing it. it's actually making a mark in it, so I'll carry on. Now you can see that it did actually saw through in very little time. I've just got to finish it off to get this last little bit done. Sorry if you can't really see it. I've got to be careful because it's going to be very hot. That's in there now. Oh, that's okay. Right, let's put that in. Not the end of the story, because this piece, I don't know what it's called, this piece here needs to come out, and it's what actually latches on and closes the door. If you think that a job is going to be easy and all of a sudden it isn't, you kind of get a little bit impatient. There we are. I don't know if you can see. Just have a look here. This piece is not coming out, and it needs to just, I can probably do it from this side. I couldn't do it when it was in the door. See, this needs to be able to push this part here out. Well, that's actually amazing, because it took me 2 seconds. I could have even filmed it. I just bashed it with the screwdriver. So now it's out. So I'm just going to see if I can fit this now back into the door. And fit this handle. Oh, it's done it. Okay, got these things here. Just fit in with a nail. You just bend to fit the door. So I put that there and I bend this nail. Hope it's, yeah, that's bent. Problem with this door is it doesn't fit. I've got the handle on. That is a dream come true. Now either the wood has expanded or the hinge has come out a little bit. It's very difficult because it's old. I would like to replace the hinges, but I can't get the same style in my local hardware store now, so I'm just going to go the other side of the door and see which bit is stopping it from closing, and I'm going to have to maybe get layers of it off, just sort of like smooth layers of it off with a craft knife. So I'll be back later. Right, after much work, it looks really bad now. I need to sand it down. Also had to cut away a lot of this with a craft knife. I don't have the right tools. And I also had to cut away some of this and inside. But really, this lock is, actually the lock is wonky. It's not straight. I might just take it back and see if I can and change it for another one. And also the little nail that kept the handle on dropped out onto the floor, which I'll find when I'm tidying up all the shavings, the wood shavings here. But it's very flimsy. I just had to put a screw in for now, otherwise this handle will come off. Otherwise it will close, but it still needs sorting out, and the latchy bit is mal-aligned. I honestly don't know how I can fix this, because I've never done it before, so I will need to find out. So that will open and close. I can jam it closed, but it's not latching. It also won't lock because it's not aligned properly. So it's another thing. Jobs never ever seem to go the way you think when you think it's a quick and easy job. What I am thrilled about, and you must always take a positive away, is the fact that my blades cut through the metal, because I've got quite a big job that I need to cut through with metal cutters in the next few days. So that is a really good positive. I'm well on the way with this, but it's just not going to be today. Well, what do you think? I still need to do some work on that. It's not priority, but I know that the sleeve fits. The lock was a little bit crooked when I bought it, so really I should have asked them to change it then, but because it's me, I thought I could make it work. I'll give you a knitting update. Got my knitting here, and the contrast colour that I wanted to use for a pattern on the yoke, I've actually wound it. I've got a huge cone of this. It's mohair and silk, and so I've wound some very small amount of what I have into a ball to do the contrast. Well, I've done it's not a collar, it's a neckband, and then when I've done the cardigan at the end, I pick up the stitches along the whole cardigan, and it becomes a button band with buttonholes and space to sew the buttons on. Now, this pattern in this book advised me to read the pattern through before I started, and I did most of it. I also felt that the new techniques here were not a stumbling block. Now, I've been knitting for a long time, since I was a child, and I've never used German short rows, and I have never used facings and steep technique. And I just don't think, in the traditional knitting that I learnt from my mum, who learnt from her mum, my grandmother, doesn't need to use that particularly. And this technique means that you would knit the cardigan in the round, then sew 2 parallel stitches on your sewing machine afterwards, and then cut between them, and then fold back and press facings and stitch them down, then pick up your stitches to do your button band. And I just think it's a long-winded way of doing things, which for this particular yarn, it's very lightweight. I don't want any heaviness in it where it would be pulled down. It's going to be a challenge finding lightweight buttons so that the buttons don't actually distort the whole fall of the cardigan. So I'm going to have to abandon this project because I just can't see a way around it. I may have to go for a lacy cardigan with this, which will be very nice in the summer, maybe with a 3/4 length sleeve. I did want to do a Fair Isle element though with this because I absolutely love knitting in Fair Isle. I may, because I found some lacy patterns on Drops Design on garnstudio.com, which is fantastic for knitting patterns, free knitting patterns. And so they have lacy cardigans done with 1 strand of the kid silk mohair. I could change the lacy pattern and just knit it plain, and then incorporate this as a Fair Isle. I also have some pale pink, so I could do a Fair Isle design with the dark pink against the navy and a little bit of light pink against the navy. I just wanted to do that, but that would make a more wintry cardigan, which I guess would be okay because it gets cold here in the winter, and some lightweight, warm knits are something that I really love. But also, a lacy cardigan would be lovely in the summer as well, as just in the evenings. If it does get a little bit cool, as it can sometimes, I can just put on a lacy cardigan that is elegant and pretty. Anyway, let me know what you think I should do, and I will keep you posted. If you enjoyed this video so far with me, Mr. Darcy, and I've got the 2 dogs in here. Mr. Byron was here before, but he ran away. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I would very much appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, as your support means the world to me. It's a huge motivator to bring you more content. If there's any particular content you would be interested in me presenting to you, please comment below. I can't promise, but I will certainly have a look. If you'd also like to support my channel, a lot of people ask me how they can do this. You can also consider to buy me a coffee. I'll do the QR code above there for you, and it's €1 if you would like to. And I would very much appreciate you supporting that, because I can put that towards materials. With all that said, it remains for me to say thank you very much if you have watched my video all the way to this point. So I'll see you next time.
I like to live